Last episode, we spent £23 million on a new left-back, but a pretty shocking debut and some unexpected losses saw our lead at the top cut down to just 2 points. But today, with our FA Cup campaign and the Champions League knockout stages about to kick off, it could well be a very special season at Everton Football Club. And as ever, if you're enjoying the series so far, please feel free to like and subscribe, and let's get into today's episode. Now, since his arrival at the club in the January transfer window, I was hoping that the 80-rated Ian Maatsen would come in and be a potential huge competition to the development of this man, Uriel Hato, on the left-hand side of my defence. However, with him already playing 3 games in the Champions League for his former club and only getting a 5.9 rating and only getting a 5.6 rating in his debut appearance in the Premier League for Everton, it's already got me thinking, was it the right decision to splash the remainder of my budget on him? And could the 70-rated 33-year-old Frenchman Kazawa have done a job for me at left-back in reserve until the end of the season? And potentially I could have saved the money that I spent on this man to try and bring in someone even better when the summer transfer window opens. And after being left frustrated against Manchester United for the 3rd time this season, unable to get a goal against them, and only being able to secure a point in a 0-0 draw, we're really starting to get the other teams in the top 5 and 6 beginning to breathe down on X in the Premier League. Morale seems like it's still in a really good place for the team though, and with the likes of Brian Brobby putting in some sensational performances in all competitions across the board, chipping in with 16 goals so far in this campaign, and the likes of Yusufa Mukoku already chipping in with 11 goals and 8 of those coming in the Premier League, plus the youngster Johan Bakayoko getting 6 goals and 7 assists, along with Mikael Damsgaard finally coming to life in an Everton shirt with 5 goals and 5 assists this season. I think despite us hitting a little bit of a roadblock in terms of our form, hopes are still high at Everton Football Club that we can go one better than the board objectives in all competitions this season, and that we can finally win our first piece of silverware. I spoke at the beginning of last episode about the Portuguese 26-year-old Jota and him not being able to get on the score sheet or the assist sheet so far this season, but he seems like he's listened to those conversations as he's now already chipped in with 5 goals and 1 assist just in last episode alone. And whilst the January transfer window is still clearly open, with me only having £3 million left in my transfer budget, I don't think I'm going to be able to improve the squad any further this season. However, despite us only being midway through the Premier League campaign, I am still trying to look at this starting 11 to see which areas of the team I might want to consider improving in the summer. Now, clearly it's in defence where my players have arguably the lowest average rating, with the likes of Teresiano having 79 and he being the only player in my starting 11 not to be rated in the 80s. Plus, with me only having 3 senior centre-backs at the club, the highest rated of which is this man Mark Gay at just 83, and with me having to have the central defensive midfielder James Garner fill in at the back on several occasions in the first half of the season. Plus, despite Jordan Pickford being my highest rated player in the team at 87, with him coming out with some absolute howlers like he did last episode against Manchester United, is potentially a new goalkeeper in between the sticks and some defenders right across my back line, the area of focus that I need to have as we move into the second half of the season, as we look ahead to the summer transfer window at the beginning of the next season as well. Of course, as ever, let me know what you think down below, and let me know which areas you think I need to improve and which players you would like to see in an Everton shirt at the start of season 4. For now though, with our FA Cup campaign about to begin, and with us being drawn in a fairly tricky tie away from home against former Premier League giants Leeds United, as you will see, I have gone with a very strong starting 11 just to make sure that we get through to the next round. And once again, my senior players step up when I need them to. A solid 3-1 victory away from home sees our path through to round 4 cleared. Interestingly though, just as I'm getting ready to face off against the Norwich team, who currently sit rock bottom of the Premier League table in my very next game, I get some very interesting news in the transfer market, and that is that Leicester City have offered £41.5 million for my star goalkeeper Jordan Pickford. Now, with Leicester City not even being in the Premier League in this career mode, it's a move that is absolutely ridiculous, and it's one that I'm sure Jordan Pickford will have absolutely no interest in whatsoever, so I am going to go ahead and clearly reject this offer for now. However, it has got me thinking, in spite of him being my highest rated player at 87, with him starting to make some serious howlers in the Premier League this season, may now be the right time to try and cut my losses and sell him when his value's at his highest. As you can see, he's only got 1 year and 5 months left remaining on his contract, and I have a very big decision to make as to whether or not I want to renew it, or if I want to consider selling the England international. Now, obviously, I did a poll last season to ask you whether or not you think I should sell Jordan Pickford, and it was a resounding no. You think that I should keep him at the club. However, with some huge offers coming in from a championship team, let alone any Premier League or top European teams, might now be the time to try and rethink the position of Jordan Pickford at Everton Football Club. Once again, let me know down in the comments what you think. Back to the football though, and our Premier League form continues to stutter. This time, we can only do enough to secure a 1-1 draw at home to bottom place Norwich. And it's another draw, this time in the FA Cup, as we are forced into a replay in the 4th round, as we can only get a 2-2 draw at home to Aston Villa. And things go from bad to worse as we succumb to a defeat away from home at Craven Cottage, beaten 1-0 by Fulham. And to top it all off, we get our 2nd defeat in a row. This time it's at home. It's another time when we fail to find the back of the net as Brentford beat us 2-0. Well, from absolutely dominating the first half of the season to having a shocking start to the second and dropping down to 2nd place with our lead at the top completely gone, and we now sit 2 points behind Newcastle. The morale of the team has gone through the floor, and suddenly I've gone from feeling really positive about this team's opportunity to win silverware this season to starting to look over my shoulder at the board objectives, wondering if we're ever going to be able to reach them. And after only being able to secure a 2-2 draw at Goodison Park in the 4th round of the FA Cup against Aston Villa, it makes this replay against them away from home at Villa Park even more important for our future this season. And so with that in mind, I have no choice but to finally take control of our own destiny. We head off to Villa Park for what is going to be a monumental 4th round replay clash against the Midlands club, and it's a game that we absolutely have to win if we want to keep our chances of domestic silverware alive this season. As you can see, with a bit of fatigue running through the camp, I have had to make several enforced changes to my usual starting 11. Pickford does keep his place in goal, but Patterson comes in at right back. Mark Gay is partnered by Branthwaite with Hatto on the left-hand side. Garner, though, comes in the centre of the park to partner Matt O'Reilly, with Dele Alli playing in the hole behind the striker. Bakayoko, Cesar Huerta and Mukoku will start up front. Neil Bailey into Douglas Luiz. Nice stuff from Aston Villa here. Castro back into Bailey. Bailey shaping up for a strike. Mark Gay, though, remained strong and won the ball exactly when I needed him to. And now Cesar Huerta is going to try and release Dele Alli. It's a lovely ball into the Englishman, but he does not have the pace to get away from the defenders. Cesar Huerta, though, might have the pace. Somehow gets a bit lucky with the bounce. Manages to keep hold of the ball. Has the momentum of the attack gone? Yes, it has. Lovely sliding challenge by Douglas Luiz. Castro for Villa. End-to-end stuff here inside the opening 20 minutes here. Both teams trying to see if they can be the first to unlock stubborn defences, but neither are really able to find that little extra spark of creativity in the final third, and it's us hopefully going to look to try and see if we can do it this time round, as Cesar Huerta threw it in the box looking for the back post of Bakayoko. Couldn't quite find him though. O'Reilly keeps it alive. Back out to James Garner. Now Huerta to throw it back in. Once again going to the back post, and once again is headed clear by the Aston Villa defenders. We've got a free kick here though in a very, very dangerous position, and it is one that Matt O'Reilly is going to step up to try and take here. I'm just going to try and see if I can blast this here into the top right hand corner. Matt O'Reilly's going to step up to take. He smashed it against the wall there. And the Aston Villa defence stood strong, but it is Matt O'Reilly yet again who's got the ball, and he's got an opportunity to whip it back in. Once again, it's headed clear, only out as far as James Garner. We managed to keep the pressure alive here and keep the opportunity up of trying to break the deadlock. Lovely pass into Cesar Huerta. He tries to find some sort of angle to strike, doesn't. O'Reilly now has it instead. I'm going to try and see if I can skip away from a couple of challenges here. We're just trying to see if we can find any sort of opening. Patterson's going to throw it in this time. Headed away this time by Pau Torres. Not very far though. Douglas Luiz with the big head away, and finally Aston Villa can clear their lines. Brozier. It's 3-on-3 here up front for Aston Villa as Castro tries to skip away from the challenge of Marquet into Leon Bailey. Pickford comes out. It almost went round him, but just about managed to keep that at bay. My word, we got away with one there. Dele Alli into the path of Bakayoko. Doesn't have any options in front of him, but he's looking for the on-lapping run of Mukoku, and that is a lovely ball. Brilliant challenge yet again. A brilliant last-ditch challenge from the Aston Villa defenders. Well, just like there was nothing to separate the two teams in the first leg, there is nothing to separate the two teams in the first half of this replay here. 0-0 it remains. Can either one of these teams finally break the deadlock? O'Reilly, nice ball down the line into Cesar Huerta, who's been a live wire so far in this game, and he's tried to find Mukoku, has managed to find him, and Bakayoko now has found some space into Patterson, and it's the right back who has lost his place in the starting 11 this season, who has popped up unmarked at the back post, found a bit of space and found his way into the back of the net with a wonderful strike. Beautiful build-up play, the ball was bouncing around, but eventually Bakayoko was found and he just turned it around the corner into the path of the on-rushing Nathan Patterson. Lovely finish. Calmness beyond his years, and that is a brilliant way to give us a 1-0 lead. Into Castro, lovely done to get away from Margay now, and Branthwaite is going to try and come across to cover. He does do a good job, just about manages to hold him up, but not good enough. They still manage to keep the ball alive. It's the goal scorer Nathan Patterson who puts in a wonderful block. He goes out for a corner that Aston Villa will take straight away with Leon Bailey. There is no short option, so it's thrown into the box, headed away by Cesar Huerta. Not very far though, as Pau Torres keeps it alive. Aston Villa looking to strike back immediately. Lovely little interchanging play there between himself and Leon Bailey. Douglas Luiz, he goes back out wide, this time to Yuri Tielemans. Aston Villa shaping up to try and see if they can find an opportunity. It was a good ball in. Pickford managed to beat it away, only out as far as Leon Bailey though, right on the edge of the box. Into Tielemans, we've got to stop the cross, we don't. Castro heads it wide though. James Garner. Into Branthwaite, out to Hatto, really nicely done between the three of them. Nice little triangle there as James Garner with some lovely footwork into the substitute Dwight McNeil. Nice pass into another substitute and Damsgaard. He just about keeps it in play, cuts it back to McNeil. It's off the goalkeeper and it's straight into the path of the young striker Mukoku, who is in the right place at the right time inside the 6-yard box on the volley to give us a 2-0 lead. Well, that was arguably the best passage of play from us all game. Lovely passing, just managed to carve the Aston Villa defence open. We did get a stroke of luck inside the 6-yard box, but the strikers have to be in the right place at the right time. It's that awareness and composure that Mukoku offers us, and it was a lovely finish into an empty net. It's 2-0. Well, we've got just under 20 minutes now remaining on the clock to hold on to what will be a much needed and a hugely valuable lead here. We've got to make sure that we keep our experience and we keep our professionalism alive, and we make sure that we do not let this slip. But Aston Villa are going to try and see if they can hit us straight away. It's thrown into the box. It's a lovely volley, but Castro puts it into the side netting. Margay into Damsgaard, one touch into Nathan Patterson, into Dwight McNeil, through the lines, into Mukoku. It's absolutely wonderful. Mukoku on his left to seal the victory here. A brilliant finish, and yet again it is even more incisive Everton attacking. We cut through Aston Villa yet again. It was a lovely ball through the lines right into the channel, and Mukoku once again proving his worth as an impact sub off the bench, comes on and within the space of about 10 minutes gets 2 goals to his name. It's our third. It's 3-0. There's about 5 minutes remaining on the clock though, and Aston Villa have the opportunity to try and see if they can get a consolation here. I am desperate to try and see if I can keep the clean sheet. It will do huge amounts for my morale as Dwight McNeil tries to get it away. He gets all sort of caught up in trouble here, and he's been taken out from behind. I've just got to hope that that is not a serious injury, as he is still down. Is Douglas Luiz going to be issued with a card? Yes, he is. It's a yellow. Now, let's take a look at the replay to see. Oh, my word. He is a very lucky man. That is worse on the replay than I thought it was in real time. A shocking challenge. And somehow that man is still on the pitch. I do not know how. But it doesn't matter either way, because the referee calls time on what has been a fairly lopsided victory here for Everton. The players are delighted. It is exactly what the doctor ordered at a time where our form is very much in and out. That man, Mukoku, strikes twice yet again. As a full time here at Villa Park, it finishes Aston Villa 0, Everton 3. Well, it was a big win at a time when we so desperately needed it. It's all class yet again from the young striker Mukoku, constantly putting in top draw performance after top draw performance, especially off the bench. It's his 13th goal so far in this campaign, and at just 21 years of age and already up to an 83 rating, there is absolutely no telling what potential this man could unlock as the career mode progresses. It's a much needed win though that gets us out the rut that we found ourselves in, and it has secured our path to the 5th round, where we have a home tie, a very favourable tie, it must be said, against Shrewsbury, and we have to be confident that we can make it at least to the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. In more pressing news though, we have gone from the top of the table midway through the season all the way down to 4th. Yes, we do have a game in hand that might be able to lift us back up to the top, but as you can see, it is so tight between 1st place and 5th place, just 4 points separating us, and anything can happen in the second half of the season. But it seems like that FA Cup victory has well and truly got our season back on track. A thumping 3-0 victory at home to Crystal Palace gets us back in the win column in the Premier League. But after getting 6 wins out of 6 in our Champions League group stage, all attention now turns to the knockout rounds, as it is RB Leipzig whom we're going to be facing off against in our very next game. It is going to be a monumental first leg clash against the German outfit, and it's a performance that actually, on reflection, I'm pretty comfortable with. A very late equaliser from Onana is enough to bring it to a score 2-2 draw, and I think that puts us in a very good position heading into the second leg at Goodison Park. However, with our attention turning back to the Premier League and with our return to form meaning we have climbed back up into second place, now level on points with Newcastle United, with a Chelsea side just 2 points behind us, breathing down our necks. We are about to jump from one huge game to another, as it is going to be Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, whom we're going to face off against in our very next Premier League game. And due to that midweek game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League, fatigue has struck down a few of my players yet again. Pickford keeps his place in goal, but Teresiano is partnered by Zangante, Branthwaite and Ian Maatsen on his return to Stamford Bridge. He'll be looking to put in a decent performance here today in defence. James Garner is partnered by O'Reilly in midfield, with Damsgaard playing in the hole behind the striker. Dwight McNeil, Jota and Brobby make up my attack. Well, this is a huge game in the context of the Premier League title race, and I never thought I'd say that at the beginning of the season. Just 2 points separating these two teams. If we can get a win, that will put clear daylight between the two of them, and that will be a huge morale booster to the rest of the Everton team and the fans as well. Hakim Ziyech, though, into Christopher Nkunku, who's got acres of space to try and find a ball, but he doesn't. Teresiano intercepts it well, and now Dwight McNeil can try and see if he can burst away here, but he's lost a little bit of momentum in that attack. But he has found James Garner, who's found the former Chelsea man in Ian Maatsen. O'Reilly will go down the right-hand side into Teresiano, plays it back in field, looks for Dwight McNeil, look round the corner for the overlap, couldn't quite find it though, it was well blocked off by the Chelsea defence. Teresiano again into Dwight McNeil, coming central, trying to get himself involved. Nice pass into Jota, out to Ian Maatsen. He's been fairly decent so far in the opening 15 minutes, trying to get himself involved at every possible opportunity. And he's doing a good job trying to get down that left-hand side, as we've got it again down the left-hand side, indeed, with James Garner. Back out to Maatsen. Maatsen again is going to try and throw it in. It was a good ball in. Brobby couldn't get on the end of it, though. Damsgaard does. Back out to James Garner. Into O'Reilly. O'Reilly's this time going to look to the right-hand side. It's well intercepted, though, by Lucas Hernandez. Hernandez for Chelsea, though. Their own left-back marauding forward now, and they've played it into Hakim Ziyech, who's had to turn back and go back to that very left-back. Infield now to Cristante. He's going to try and see if he can find some sort of option in front of him. He finds Madueke. Lovely ball into Nkunku, and he's ghosted past my defence. Pickford comes to our rescue, though. Well, that was arguably the best chance of the game, and it was a brilliant opportunity for Chelsea to put themselves 1-0 up. They didn't take it, but they do get another corner. Second corner for them, and it looks like it's the second time they are going to go short with it. They do. Into Madueke. It's a carbon copy of the first as it bounces off James Garner. This time, though, it falls to the edge of the box. Cristante has it again. Out to Chalaba. He strikes from distance. Falls to Jordan Pickford again, who just about manages to palm it away into the path of Ian Maatsen, who can take this one out of defence. Damsgaard into Garner. Garner tries to go in field. It's well intercepted, though, by Caicedo. Chelsea very much in the ascendancy here in Stamford Bridge. They are sensing they can get a good opportunity here to get 3 points. But Branthwaite comes across. A do-or-die challenge. And my word, what an important one it was. And now Brian Brobby has released Dwight McNeil down this right-hand side. Has the man got the pace to drive into the box? Yes, he does. What a strike. Oh, my word. It's cleared off the line by Chalaba. My word, I thought he was about to knock that into his own net. Chalaba yet again for Chelsea into Madueke, right on the stroke of half-time. Chelsea seeing if they can try and see if they can get ahead here. But in the end, it's a fairly tame shot from Nkunku as the referee blows for half-time. Well, a fairly solid opening 45 minutes here from two teams that are very evenly matched. Neither could break the deadlock. Both had opportunities. You could argue that Chelsea had the better one, although we did have a great opportunity cleared off the line. And neither team able to take advantage. Can they try and do that here in the second half, as Dwight McNeil is going to hopefully be the man to unlock the defence. Throws it across the box. It was a brilliant cross, but where was Brian Brobby when you need him? Madueke into Nkunku, out to the right-hand side to Chalaba, back in. Lovely one-touch play there, but it is Maatsen, the former Chelsea man, who intercepts, and now he releases the Portuguese Jota down the left-hand side. He does have an option of Brian Brobby, but doesn't choose to use him. Instead goes alone. Oh my goodness, that is potentially goal of the season from the Portuguese Jota. It is absolutely sensational. We have been waiting for the moment where he is going to announce himself this season and get back to the form that he showed when he first joined us last season. And my word, he has picked the perfect opportunity to do it. Absolutely sensational. He cut inside. He had opportunities to pass. He didn't take them. Instead, he took it on himself. And that is a beautiful curling finish around the goalkeeper. Pochettino's furious. It's 1-0 Everton. Ziyech for Chelsea into Caicedo. Once again, though, we win the ball back high up the field in a really good position. Brobby tries to play it down the line into Dwight McNeil. He's got the overlapping run of Teresiano. Can he find him? Yes, he does. Lovely play. I'm going to try and cut this one back in the middle. Brian Brobby on the return. Doesn't manage to get on the end of it properly though. Doesn't manage to connect. And it's blocked by the Chelsea defence. Chelsea playing some really nice football. It's the former Aston Villa man in Buendia who plays it into the path of Christopher Nkunku. Caicedo into Madueke, who's central, back out wide. Lovely stuff from Chelsea. They've opened my defence up at will. Jordan Pickford, though, denies Enzo Fernandez for what should have been an equaliser for Chelsea. They totally opened me up, but they could not take advantage yet again. And I'm going to now try and take advantage, playing a ball into the channel, into Moukoko. It's absolutely sensational. My word, the Chelsea defence is cut in half. And yet again, Moukoko coming on as an impact sub has an incredible impact for the countless times this season. The ball over was a fairly speculative one by Huerta, but it was into the channel, and I thought the two defenders would be able to get it, but it was just split right between the two of them. Moukoko had the pace to get away, and he applied a wonderful finish. Look how delighted I am. It's 2-0 into the path of Madueke. That is a huge relief to get that second goal and just to get that extra cushion to try and see if we can hold on here for what will be a much valuable 3 points as Nkunku off the bar and it's blocked by Ian Matson. My word, Chelsea was so close to a route back into this game. But they do have a corner and it's one it looks like they are going to take short yet again. Clearly this is something they've been practicing on the training ground, but so far it really has not been successful as every time James Garner has blocked it off. But they have managed to keep the ball alive. They've got every single man inside the Everton half here as they look to press and try and see if they can get a goal to get themselves back in the game. It's an aimless ball in the box though. It's cleared away by Teresiano. Only out as far as Mario Rui on the left-hand side. Thrown back in. This time it's headed away by Branthwaite, who has been brilliant at the back for me so far in this game. And Nkunku knocks it down into the path of the left-back Hernandez. They keep the ball alive. Absolutely every man except the Chelsea goalkeeper inside my half. Madueke tries to play it into the channel, but Matson read it well. And my word, he has been absolutely fabulous today on his return back to Stamford Bridge. Over into the path of Branthwaite. Surely now it is only a matter of time. Yes, it is. Before the referee blows his whistle, he has put Chelsea out of their misery here at Stamford Bridge. We have gone all the way to London and we have claimed 3 points here today. An incredibly valuable 3 points that does absolute wonders for our title campaign this season. That man Moukoko yet again coming off the bench and proving decisive once again, as his goal and Jota's screamer is enough to give us a 2-0 victory here at Stamford Bridge. Well, not only do we make a miraculous triumph over Chelsea, but we also managed to leapfrog Newcastle back up to what I feel is our rightful place, top of the table with 25 games played. 52 points on the board, and now we have put some serious distance between ourselves and the London club. Moukoko once again will take the plaudits after another wonderful performance off the bench. It's his 14th goal this season, his 9th in the Premier League, and he continues to push this man Brian Brobby all the way this season. After a torrid start on his debut in an Everton shirt, Ian Matson has come alive against his former club. A wonderful performance down that left flank, and hopefully that can kickstart the rest of his Everton career. As for this man Jota, I have been waiting and waiting and waiting for the moment he was going to recapture the form that propelled him to one of my best players in the opening few months when he joined us. This season though, he's been a bit in and out, but that goal against Chelsea highlighted his incredible talent and hopefully brought him back to becoming one of my most influential players this season. But as the games are coming thick and fast, all of our good work against Chelsea completely goes up in flames as we are brought crashing back down to earth with a hard-fought, tough-to-take 1-0 loss at home to Brighton. We get back in the win column though, courtesy of an early goal from Dele Alli and 2 yet again from Moukoko, as we seal a fairly comprehensive victory against Shrewsbury in the 5th round of the FA Cup as we beat them 3-1. And with the exception of Arsenal and Spurs, pretty much all of the big boys in the Premier League have been knocked out of the tie as we head into the quarter-finals. We've got a fairly favourable draw yet again against Nottingham Forest, and I am becoming increasingly confident that we can go all the way this season in the FA Cup and finally clinch some silverware for Everton Football Club. Yet again though, our up and down form continues in the Premier League in the second half of the season, as despite Brobby fortunately enough getting a late equaliser, his singular goal is only enough to secure a point, as it's another 2 points dropped away from home against West Ham. Our topsy-turvy rollercoaster ride in the Premier League continues to hit some bumps. We now fall down to second place with Newcastle leapfrogging us back up to first, 2 points separating us and them, plus us and Chelsea below us. We still got some work to do if we want to clinch this title. But now, though, it is time to turn our attention back to arguably what is going to be one of the biggest games of our season so far. It is the second leg tie in the Champions League against RB Leipzig. And for such a big game, I have decided to make some bold calls to my starting 11. Of course, Pickford keeps his place in goal, as does Teresiano on the right-hand side of my defence. Mark Gay, of course, starts at the back, but he is partnered by Sangante, with Branthwaite feeling a little bit of fatigue dropping to the bench. Hato makes up the rest of my defence on the left-hand side. Onana is partnered in midfield by Matt O'Reilly, but it's Dele Alli who gets the nod in behind the striker. It is Bakayoko on the right, Cesar Huerta on the left, with Jota really feeling some fatigue. And the big talking point, though, is Moukoko gets the nod in the Champions League. He's been in sensational form in the last few months, and I think it's only right for him to get the nod ahead of Brian Brobby, who has lost his way a little bit over the last couple of games, and so he unfortunately drops to the bench. Mark Gay under a bit of trouble from the Leipzig press early doors here inside the opening 5 minutes, but he did manage to wriggle away from those challenges, and now Teresiano wriggles into the centre of the park, and he finds Dele Alli, who finds a lovely ball out to Hato on the left-hand side, who floats it in looking for Moukoko. Could only find the head of the RB Leipzig defence though. Sangante back out to Teresiano, already inside the opening 10 minutes. All the men on this pitch are inside the Leipzig half. Is this a little bit of an example of what's going to happen? And hopefully it's not, because Cesar Huerta balloons his header high and wide. Cleared up the field, and Elmas wins that head really nicely. David Garcia now into the former Spurs man Udogie, clearly plying his trade now for the German club RB Leipzig. He plays it in field, looks for Florin Balogun, another former London E, as he used to ply his trade for Arsenal, but it's another former Spurs player now in Dele Alli, who feeds it into Moukoko, tries to go in field. This time, though, it's a good piece of defending by Garcia. End-to-end stuff here inside the opening 20 minutes as RB Leipzig tries to bring the ball forward. Mark Gay does manage to win the ball back, but it looks like he's given away a foul in the process. Costello now for RB Leipzig into Zivald. He's trying to go past my defence, but Sangante, deputising for Branthwaite, does a really good job of winning the ball back high up the field. And now Cesar Huerta can try and burst down this left-hand side, unopposed here. Can he try and go past the defender? He's got the pace to do so. Floats it into the box. In the end, it's too easy for the goalkeeper. Mark Gay goes across defence. Oh my word, got a little bit lucky with that one. Hato just about managed to get there ahead of the defender. And that is some really nice stuff here from the Everton players to beat the press. But in the end, it's a bit of a loose pass, and we lose it in a really good position. And now RB Leipzig can try and see if they can hit us on the counter-attack. Castello now, surely he's going to go out to the left-hand side. Instead, he tries to go on his own, and he manages to get past two of my players. Manages to find the left-back in Udogie, who can't go past Mark Gay. Brilliant defending from the Englishman, and he can now try and release Bakayoko, who finds a nice ball into Moukoko. Moukoko back to Bakayoko. Has the momentum of this attack just dropped out, though, but Moukoko keeps it alive. Into Hato. Hato into the box with his left. He gets the strike all wrong. Well, so far, it's clear why there was nothing to separate the two teams in the first leg. Both very evenly matched, both unable to find the back of the net in the opening 45 minutes. Can we make a change to that here in the second 45? It's going to be Bakayoko now in the centre. He's got a lovely run of Teresiano on the right-hand side. The Italian takes it down really nicely, tries to go past the defender, does go past the defender, tries to float it back in, looking for Moukoko along the ground. In the end, though, it's cleared away by the RB Leipzig defence. David Garcia into Elmas, who's dropped deep to try and see if he can get himself involved. He is the creative spark in this RB Leipzig team, but he's yet to really make his mark in this game. But it's looking like Lindstrom is going to try and do that down the left-hand side into Balogun. Mark Gay, though, who has been absolutely brilliant in this game, comes across just in the right place at the right time yet again. Well, with just under 25 minutes left remaining on the clock, as you can see, I am going to make a few changes to try and see if I can spark some life into what has been a fairly lacklustre Everton attack so far in this game. And as we're going to continue, oh my word, it's a terrible pass. What are we doing? And Jimenez, oh my goodness, it's a complete disaster in the Champions League. We have just completely fallen asleep. And I've got to be honest, that is pretty harsh of me to blame the players. That was all on me. Absolutely shocking. What on earth was I doing? A terrible pass. Didn't even see Jimenez there. And at this level, if you make mistakes like that, the opposition will make you pay. Leipzig lead here in the second leg. 1-0. It is 3-2 on aggregate to the German club. Well, I cannot believe this. After what has been a complete stalemate of a game between these two teams, a silly, silly mistake defensively from me means that now we are in a really tricky position, and we have got about 15 minutes remaining on the clock to try and see if we can find the opener, and it is Damsgaard who levels instantly. That is absolutely brilliant. on as a substitute, and he just shows exactly why it was the right decision to bring him on at the perfect time. What a response from the Everton players. The Evertonians have gone absolutely mad. The atmosphere here inside Goodison Park is electric. It's a first-time strike on his left foot. That is brilliant. Pick that out, goalkeeper. Thank you very much. A wonderful finish. It's 1-1. And thankfully, that has spared my blushes. And Damsgaard has won the ball back high yet again. Now, all of a sudden, just like that, the game has completely flipped on its head, and Dwight McNeil was so close to getting in there. My word, from being down in the dumps, within 5 minutes now being in the ascendancy. And yet again, I just do not know which team is going to win this one. Nicholas Jackson, a former Chelsea man, to try and bring this forward for RB Leipzig. He's blocked off though, and it's Hato who wins the ball back. End-to-end stuff here. This game has all of a sudden come alive, and now it's Dwight McNeil down the left-hand side. He has options. Can he try and find a ball into the box? He does. Into Bakayoko on his right. And Bakayoko at the back post celebrates. He has got the goal in the last 5 minutes. And we have totally turned this game on its head. What on earth is happening here at Goodison Park? Is this season turning into an absolute miracle one for Everton Football Club? I cannot believe it. The game has totally opened up. Dwight McNeil on as a substitute, picked out Bakayoko, and once again picked that out of the back of the net. A lovely deft finish with his right foot. Absolutely pitch perfect. The goalkeeper had no chance, couldn't get across quick enough. Bakayoko celebrates, it's 2-1. Well, it's absolutely unbelievable scenes here in the Champions League. From being 1-0 down, pretty much throwing away our Champions League hopes, to within the space of about 5 or 10 minutes, suddenly being 2-1 up here. And now we've just got to make sure that we keep our composure and we do not let the rest of this game slip, as Damsgaard tries to slip in Bakayoko, but in the end, it's a good challenge from Udogi, as now the referee blows the whistle for full time. Look at the crowd, they've got absolutely wild. Everton Football Club are through to the quarter-finals of the Champions League against all odds here at Goodison Park. It is that man Bakayoko, his goal is the decisive one. It's the winner here at full time. It's 2-1 here at the final whistle. It's 4-3 on aggregate. Everton are through to the next round of the Champions League. Well, my word, what a way to end this episode. I thought we'd thrown it away, but Bakayoko, once again being in the right place at the right time, is his 8th goal of the season. He's chipped in with 9 assists, and this young man is just going from strength to strength, up to an 86 rating. He is one of the best players in the team, and with performances like that, it is not hard to see why. And ultimately, what a fabulous way to end what has been an electric episode. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.